everyone, welcome back to another episode of my project analysis series. I'm Eunice here. Today I'll be sharing with you an upcoming project in Tampines, Pinery Residences. Projects that are directly connected to MRT stations usually come with a premium price. So if you are buying here, how do you choose the right unit? In this presentation, I'll walk you through the project and share how to identify the sweet spot units, the ones that offers the best value. Before we begin, let me quickly walk you through what I will be covering today. First, I will go through some quick project details so that you have a quick understanding of this development. Then I will also share with you the strategy, how to identify the sweet spot units in this development, which simply means the best value units in the project. After that, we will look briefly into the unit analysis in Pinery Residences, which I'll be sharing with you the different types of units in this development. Lastly, I will also highlight some risk factors that buyers should consider before purchasing and also the exit timing. If you are considering this project, do stay with me until the end. Alright, let's start by taking a quick look at the project details. This is how the facade of the development is expected to look like. So let's zoom into the further details of the facilities. Here are some of the artist's impressions of the project. Pinery Residences will come with more than 70 facilities, which is quite comprehensive for a mixed-use development. You will find facilities such as the 50-meter lap pool and function rooms, barbecue pits, and a drop-off point which is found at the level 2, and also entertainment and games room. So in terms of the lifestyle facilities, I would say the development is pretty well equipped. Next, let's take a look at the project details. This project is developed by Hoi Hat Samway, a developer with a good track record in Singapore. Pinery Residences is a mixed-use development comprising of commercial podium with supermarket, food court, early childhood development center, and also there are 6 blocks of 14 stories residential units here. In total, there are altogether 588 residential units. And this mixed-use development itself is directly connected to the Tampines West MRT. In terms of the car park ratio, right, there's altogether 474 car park lots, which is almost equivalent to 80%. This is pretty generous considering the project is connected directly to the MRT. However, one thing to take note is that for mixed-use development, visitors usually need to pay for parking, unlike in the pure residential projects. And generally, the maintenance fee will be higher. Now, let's take a look at the location of the development. I'm showing you this from the URA master plan perspective so that we can have a better understanding what is the current surrounding and the future plans. Pinery Residences is actually located here, and you can see that Tampines West MRT is just located right opposite this development itself. And developer will be actually building an underground pedestrian linkway to the Tampines West MRT. And then from here onwards, right, you can see surrounding here is all the HDBs. And diagonally opposite this development itself, right, is the upcoming executive condominium, which is called Reveal. Okay, and over here there is actually a park. In terms of the schools wise, right, this development is actually located within 1 kilometer from the St. Hilda Primary and Secondary School. However, one thing to take note is the development is mainly surrounded by HDB blocks, so the views may not be the main attraction in this development. Being located along the downtown line provides you with strong connectivity. You can easily travel to the CBD area, and also getting to Changi Airport is much more easier. From this map itself, right, we can see that Tampines Way is actually here along the downtown line. So it is just one stop away from the Tampines MRT where you can easily change to the east-west line. Okay, if you want to get into the Changi Airport, right, it is just 5 stops from the Changi Airport or Jewel. Okay, and for this downtown line itself, right, it also brings you directly to the downtown MRT, which is along the CBD area. Because of this MRT connection, right, some residents may even consider living without a car. One of the key attractions of Pinery Residences is the all-in-one convenience. The retail mall will basically be managed by CBRE. So why is it important to have a managing agent to manage the mall itself? This is beneficial because the managing agent can control the tenant mix and ensure a balanced range of retail services is being provided. There will be more than 60 over retail shops, and confirmed tenants include NTUC FairPrice and Kopitiam. There will also be a 24 hours pedestrian linkway to the MRT. Besides the retail mall within the development, there are also other nearby amenities. You will have access to hawker center and also the wet markets. And places like IKEA and Giant are also within the Tampines area. While the mall below you should cover most daily needs, if you prefer a larger shopping mall, Tampines Mall is just one MRT stop away. In terms of unit mix, Pinery Residences offer 2 to 5 bedder units. The smaller unit type is actually 2 bed 2 bath, and typically you can see that close to 78% of the units, right, are 2 to 3 bedders. And we do have an exclusive 5 bedders which can only be found in one stack itself. This slide basically shows where the different unit types are located within the development. Block 930 is the nearest to the MRT. And this is also where the majority of the 2 and 3 bedder is located at. Okay, basically it's located at 930 and 932. And for 4 bedders, right, 4 bedders mainly can be found at 928, 926, 922 and 924. And for 5 bedder, right, this is exclusively found in only this stack, which is stack 02. This is where the 5 bedder is located at. Now we have gone through the project details. Is this a development you are looking at? If the answer is yes, then the next part will be very important because we will be discussing how to identify the best value units in Pinery Residences. Mixed-use development usually come with a premium compared to pure residential projects, so it is important to choose the right units. To put it into simple terms, the sweet spot unit means the best buy. So what is the best buy unit? The best buy unit is where you can get better attributes without paying unnecessary premium. For example, level 5 is selling at 2050 per square feet. Level 6 is selling at 2060 per square feet. Level 7 is selling at 2150 per square feet. So in this case, where do you think the sweet spot is? Level 6 becomes the sweet spot because you get a higher floor compared to level 5, but without paying the big premium for the level 6. So how do we identify the sweet spot units? When analyzing a project, there are usually 2 key factors I look at. First is the unit selling points of this development, and second is the developer pricing strategy. Once you understand these 2 factors, it becomes much easier to identify which unit offers the best value. Every development has its own unique selling point. Some projects attract buyers because of sea views, others because of river views or greenery, and some because of strong MRT connectivity. So for Pinery Residences, clearly to me, it's because of the convenience. So why is it convenient? Because it offers you with the direct access to the MRT. And also, there are retail services just right at your doorstep. On top of that, there are also F&B, restaurants, Kopitiam, and also the NTUC FairPrice supermarket, which is available. So if convenience is a key factor, we should look at which blocks provide the best convenience. This slide shows the site layout of Pinery Residences. Generally, B1 is where the Pinery Mall car park is located at, whereas for Level 1, right, this is where all the retail shops, the commercial components such as the NTUC FairPrice, Kopitiam, Early Childhood Center is all located at Level 1. And Level 2 is where the residential car park and lobby is located at, whereas the residential units will start from Level 3 to Level 14 itself. Using the site layout, we can see where the MRT entrance, supermarket and food court are located. This allows us to identify which blocks are closer to these amenities. All the blocks will have direct access to the Pinery Mall. This is where all the lifts are located at. And MRT is just right here, which you can actually access via an escalator through the underground pedestrian linkway to the MRT itself. NTUC FairPrice is just located right here, and also for the Kopitiam food court. The Early Childhood Development Center is actually located right here. And this is where the commercial drop-off is located. So whoever who wants to come to the Pinery Mall, right? So the drop-off point is actually located right here. And for the residential drop-off, is actually located right at this area here. This is where the entrance to the residential car park is located at. Another thing to take note of is the exhaust ventilation areas, which are usually located around at this section here. You can see all these red arrows, right, is where the kitchen exhaust is located at. So when it comes into selecting a unit here, right, I will usually prefer to avoid being too close to these areas. Now, we understand where the MRT, supermarket and food court are located at. We can take a closer look at the site plan. We wanted to consider the setbacks, facing and possible views. So from the site plan itself, right, I can actually share with you that these are all the HDB facing views. And likewise for here, it's all HDB facing. Except for this cluster here, right, there will actually be an upcoming park. Which means that the block over here, right, literally you'll get to have the greenery views. And right over here is also overlooking at the HDB. And MRT is actually at this direction here. But from this block onwards, right, it is also overlooking at the HDB. Although all the blocks have access to the commercial level, some blocks are closer to certain amenities. Some buyers may prefer units closer to MRT, while others may prefer being closer to supermarket or food court. Understanding this helps us to identify which blocks may be more attractive to the future buyers. These are the top 3 blocks that I have identified. 930 is literally close to the MRT because the MRT is just right here. And for 926 is actually closest to the food court. Whereas for block 924 is actually closest to the supermarket. After identifying the blocks, the next step is to understand how the developer may price the units. So common pricing strategies include pricing by floor level and by facing or view and also by the unit type. Let's first look at a scenario where a developer priced unit based on floor level. I'm using Key Residences because this is another project developed by Huai Hub as well. So as an example here, from this table you can see that the floor jump is pretty consistent, where it is actually about 8K per floor jump, which is equivalent to about 0.5% per level. However, you will notice that at level 7 and level 10, right, the price jump becomes very significant, where it increases from 0.5% to 2% and also the 3.4%. So in this case, if let's say you have a good ballot number where all the units are available for you to choose, right, you can actually choose level 6. This will be the sweet spot because the price jump happens after that. If developer loads the premium based on the floor level, here's my personal choice. You can either go for the better facing with low to mid floor instead of paying a premium for the high floor units, or you can go for the low to mid floor with in these 3 blocks here, because these 3 blocks are what we have identified earlier, which is the one that gives you the most convenience. Okay, so here's my personal top choices. So I have identified block 924 here because it is overlooking at the park here. And there's actually a very good setback, which is about 200 meters to the park. Okay, and this block itself also allows you to easily access to the FairPrice supermarket. Okay, and the next choice will be block 926. Why I choose this? Because this is actually away from the kitchen exhaust. Okay, and also either of the units here, right, the direction of facing is all pool facing. So likely if you can get a low to mid floor units here with a reasonable price, then definitely this is my top choices. Okay, and for this block itself also, it is actually easily accessed to the food court because it is actually located in the middle of the entire development. The food court is just located under this block itself. Another scenario is when developer prices units based on the facing of view. Here I'm using Terra Hill as an example. Even on the same floor level, units with pool facing, this is pool facing, greenery facing. Units with pool facing, right, you can see the difference, right, versus the greenery facing is about 45,000, whereas for this versus this, right, is 135,000 of difference. So assuming if the price per floor jump is actually consistent, right, between pool view and greenery view, so do you really think that it is worth paying 135,000 more extra for the pool view? While there is no right or wrong answer, but it really depends what the buyer is looking at. What if the developer is loading the premium on these Pinery Residences based on view jump or facing? If the pricing is mainly based on the view, then the part facing, I would think this is where the developer will load the premium on, followed by the inner facing, then the HDB facing. Because in Pinery Residences, right, most of it are actually blocked by the HDB. You can actually choose from mid to high floor with the HDB facing, but bear in mind that you need to choose the block that is most convenient. So in this case, I would think block 930 is my top choices because it is closest to the MRT, and you can actually get a higher floor unit, and it is still giving you a decent setback from the opposite HDB. Another pricing strategy developers may use it is pricing based on unit type. And in recent years, right, we have started seeing some projects where larger units actually have higher PSF compared to smaller units. Previously, larger units usually had lower PSF to keep the overall price affordable. So what if Pinery Residences adopt this unit type pricing strategy, assuming if the PSF for 4 and 5 bedder is much higher? Then literally, if 3 bedder can still fulfill your family needs, right, you can actually consider the largest 3 bedder with the best view and facing. So my top personal choice here, right, will actually be the one that is closest to the supermarket, which is this stack here. Because the largest 3 bedder here, right, 1055 square feet, which is a 3 plus study, is actually located here. And also another reason is because this is towards the park facing, which gives you the best view. And technically, the study room here, right, can actually fit in a single bed as well. So I will go through it with you when I go through the unit layout analysis. Alright, now we have a good understanding on the different types of pricing strategy by developer. Next, we will zoom into the layout in this project. Starting with the 2-bedder layout, the smallest layout will be 2-bed, 2-bath. There is no 2-bed, 1-bath in this development. So let's take a look at the first unit type here. So for B1, right, you can see that this is actually a dumbbell layout where the living and dining area is actually located in between the master bedrooms and also the common bedrooms. So this layout is actually good because it allows you to maximize the space because there is no corridor space. Next, let's move on to type B2. So for B2 is actually quite different from the rest of the types because you can see that the position of the common bathroom is actually located at the entrance here. But you can see that the common bedroom, right, the size is actually significantly bigger than the rest. Because you can see this one, right, is actually 8.5 square meter, whereas for this is actually 9.9 meter. However, you can see the common bathroom size, right, is very small, which is only like 3.5 square meter only. Okay, and for type B3, right, this is a very typical type of traditional 2-bedder layout. Okay, so for this, I would think it is good because it comes with a very wide corridor space here, and your kitchen is also considered very spacious as well. And next, let's go through this type B4. So this type B4 is also the show unit layout, and this is typically a 2 plus study layout. Okay, and you can see this is dumbbell layout because you can see the living room and dining area is located in between of these two. However, what you get additional is the study area here. And this study area is actually big enough to fit a single bed into this layout as well. And for this one, right, another thing that is different is basically on the kitchen area. Okay, so this kitchen area is like a L-shaped kitchen, but if you want, you can actually do out a door to enclose this area. So my top choice for two-bedder, right, will be the B4 type, which is 2 plus study. If let's say the budget allows you, and I would think this is really a good layout which doesn't waste any corridor space, and also it allows you to have one extra study area, and you can actually use it as a guest room as well if really needed. Alright, so let's move on to the 3-bedder layout. Altogether, there are 7 types of layout. So C1 is the smallest, the most compact 3-bedder here, and you can actually see that this is also a dumbbell layout. However, one significant difference is actually there is no window in the kitchen here. So let's move on to the type C2 layout. So this is a very traditional, typical 3-bedder layout, because you can see that all the bedrooms, right, is actually located at the same area here. And also for the kitchen, it has actually come with a window. So it allows you with a better ventilation. And for C2 and C3, right, the difference is actually on the foyer area. You can see the entrance here is slightly different, but the rest is pretty much similar. C4 to C7 are all the traditional layouts. So all kitchen has window come with it, and the main difference between these 4 layouts, right, is actually the main corridor area here, the entrance foyer area. Okay, and for C5, right, you can actually see the master bedroom is slightly larger than the rest, which is 13.7 square meter. And the direction of the master bathroom is also different from the rest. So the moment when you enter into the master bedroom, right, you can see the master bathroom straight away. And for C6 itself, right, this is pretty much similar to the C4 units as well. The only difference is actually on the entrance foyer area here. And for C7, right, which is also the show unit type, this one it actually comes with a study area in the master bedroom. However, if you want to make the study area as a separate room itself, right, you can always reposition this door to inside this area here. And also here there is one additional window here, so which means that your foyer area here, right, will be much brighter. So with this, right, my top personal choice for 3-bedder will be C2, C4 or C7. So if let's say your budget allows you to stretch a bit more, right, so C7 will be the most ideal one because it gives you the most flexibility. For 4-bedder, we have 5 different types of layout. So D1 is the only one that's without the study space, while the rest of the layouts, it does come with the study space. Okay, so let's take a look at the D1 type. So for this D1 type, right, this is the only unit type that doesn't come with the study area. And basically from this floor plan itself, right, you can see there's one extra window beside the bedroom number 4. Okay, which means that your corridor area here, right, will be very bright and well ventilated as well. And for type D2, right, this is where you will get an additional study space in the living area. And on top of that, right, this one, it doesn't come with the home shelter, but rather a utility storage area. So technically, right, this wall itself is hackable. So for people who prefers a larger living and dining area, right, they can actually choose to hack away this wall. And also for this study area here, right, when it is open out, right, you can see that the entire living room will be very, very spacious. The remaining 3 types, they also come with the study area. And basically the difference with the D2 type is that all this come with the household shelter. So which means that the wall is not hackable. There's no significant difference, but rather the difference is mainly on the foyer as well. The entrance foyer here, the layout is a bit different. Okay, and then for the D5 unit, right, it actually comes with the wet and dry kitchen. Okay, whereas D3 and D4, it doesn't come with the dry kitchen. Okay, and then for this D5 type as well, right, you can see that between the bedroom 3 and this junior master here, right, there is a bathroom. So this is actually a Jack and Jill bathroom. Rather than having so many different bedrooms sharing the same bathroom, so this one gives you an added convenience. Okay, so on top of that, right, for D5 units, it actually comes with the walk-in wardrobe as well. So my top personal choices, right, if let's say you would like to go for a 4-bedder, I would think you can actually consider for D2. So why do I say so? Because the D2, it gives you more flexibility because you can actually use the storage spaces, the utility storage spaces. You can actually hack away the wall if anytime you want to make a living area more spacious. So this one, it gives you flexibility. Okay, so last we have come to the 5-bedder layout. Very good size and functional layout. So there is actually a huge master bedroom here, which is 17.5 square meter here. And it comes with a walk-in wardrobe. And there is also a very large junior master bedroom here with the attached bathroom. And for this unit type itself, right, you can see there's a separate wet and dry kitchen as well. And this dining area here can actually fit up to 10 packs. Yeah, so now we understand the possible pricing strategy. This can serve as a guideline when selecting units, especially if you manage to secure a good ballot number. However, before making a decision, it is also important to consider the risk factors, which are the supply demand, layout, and exit timing. One important factor is supply and demand. Tampines is actually one of the most populated towns in Singapore, and this will actually help to support the housing demand in this area here. So looking at the HDB market in the Tampines West area, and these are the oldest Tampines estate, right? Some of the 5 bedrooms here has already transacted close to 850k. And some of the EA, right, has already transacted more than $1 million. And for the newer clusters of Tampines West, some 5 bedrooms, right, has already crossed the 900 range. You can see some of them has already been transacted about 980,000. And in the newer estate of Tampines North, right, some of the 5-room flats are already approaching the 1 million mark. So this indicates the HDB upgrader demand could support the nearby private developments. Another factor to consider is layout competition. The most direct competitor in the resale market will likely be Reveal EC, located just across the road. So EC developments usually have a very practical layouts and larger bedrooms, so selecting a functional layout is important. The final factor is exit timing. Besides Reveal EC, there are also nearby developments such as Ore at Tampines, Tenet, and Pinery Residences. And my general recommendation would be to consider exiting before 2032, because this will reduce the risk of competing with multiple projects entering the resale market at the same time. Alright, I have come to the end of my video. If you find this video useful, please help to subscribe and like, as I'll be doing the similar video for all other project analysis. If you require any further clarifications, feel free to reach out to me at the number here. I will see you in my next video.